dinner. You get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Hey Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's progressive talk from TuneIn.
I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
And a happy Sunday fun day to everybody out there. Scott Duff here along with Ellen Miller.
Good morning, Scott Duff.
Good morning, Ellen Miller. How are you doing?
I'm
You're
doing
star.
great.
You're like a star-belly sneak.
On this sunny afternoon.
It is a little sunny, thank goodness.
Yes.
Thank goodness. I need the sun in my life.
I do too. I love this. The sun is everything. It just changes your whole mood, doesn't it?
It really does.
That's why
It's
they
been
write so many
great.
songs about the sun. And
Here comes the sun.
Here comes the sun.
I'm walking on sunshine.
The Kinks' Sunny Afternoon, which I'll talk
Sunny
about later.
Afternoon by the Kinks. There we are. Yeah. Well, hey, I thank you for spending this sunny Sunday with us today. It's been a very big news week, starting with me taking down my Christmas tree.
Yay!
Yeah, finally did it.
You didn't want to do like an Easter tree and then one last homage?
No, it was just one of those, like, it was time. I was driving home last week, and then I got a call saying, do you really want to work today? And I'm like, no, I don't want to go into work today. So I took the day off, and we took down the tree, and surprisingly, our relationship has lasted.
Oh, see that? Yeah,
it will
that can be
test
tough.
a relationship.
Yes, it will.
Oh, yeah, there was also big stuff, too, that happened. Oh, yeah, let's see. Cory Booker addressed the Senate for about 25 hours.
I was in tears at the end.
Ding dong, flushed the economy down the toilet, and those tariffs on penguins. Penguins, that's fun. Let's just go willy-nilly. Wisconsin rejected Elon Musk and saving their state Supreme Court.
Some good news.
And thousands of folks across the country left their homes and took to the streets in protest yesterday. Mercury is in retrograde, and Val Kilmer died. And it's the season finale of White Lotus tonight. So it's been a big, crazy week.
It has been as crazy and fun for me as it could be.
Well, that's good.
It's a little good and bad.
That's good. You know, just another week in 2025, kiddos.
Yeah.
It's just kooky pants out there. So, of course, we're going to hit on all of those topics and stuff today. Plus, also, you know, we got to do something to refill the well. Helena Handbag, I love this theater company. They are continuing its 2024-25 season with the world premiere of Scary Town, a semi-autobiographical tale of a little brown bunny that uncovers a secret that rocks his world. It's written by David Cerda. So you know it's going to be twisted.
His own special world.
His own special world. And we're going to be speaking with artistic director of Helena Handbag Productions and playwright of Scary Town, David Cerda, in the second hour. And, you know, as long as we've got stuff marching on the streets and everything, and we're just a couple months away from Pride Month, we'll see if Pride Month is officially recognized this year. Probably not.
Don't count on it.
Oh, yeah, but then it's not going to stop us in Chicago, and it's not going to stop the folks in Buffalo Grove. There's some big news coming out of the Buffalo Grove Pride Parade.
Yes, there
they
is.
announced the grand marshals for this year's parade, and it's us.
Yay!
Yay! Me and Ellen. We're going to be the grand marshals of the Buffalo Grove Pride. Come on,
My old stomping grounds. I grew up out in that area. Who would have thought I'd be a grand marshal of a gay pride parade?
I know,
when I was a
right?
little kid growing up out in the suburbs.
Who knew? Well, there we go. Well, it's happening.
Yes,
We're
it
doing
is.
it. It's going to happen on June 1st. And Carolyn Pinta from Pinta Pride Project is going to be joining us later in the show to talk about all things activism in the burbs. Let me tell you, Ms. Pinta has been mobilizing folks out there. She organized a whole hands-off rally yesterday for Buffalo Grove. Like, it was, I don't know.
She's
people
a
are
beautiful
coming.
human.
I know. And they're a great family. So there we go. And of course, we want to hear from you. So give us a call at 773-763-9278. The number again is 773-763-9278. Were you at the rally yesterday? I was. We would love to hear about all of your stories and what it meant to you and what got you out of your house. It was kind of a gross day. It wasn't as bad as it could have been. I was looking at the weather all week going like 85% chance of rain.
Yeah.
It was not.
Thank goodness.
I know, but what was it for you if you were there?
Yeah, let's hear about
Please
it.
give us a call, 773-763-9278. Of course, you can find us on Facebook, where we are coming at you live. If you can find it amongst all the ads, because there's just nothing but ads now on Facebook and things.
Really
and if that doesn't float your boat, you can always tune in on WCPT AM 820. And while you're at it, follow WCPT and Heartland Signal on all the socials and all that good stuff. You can find us on YouTube. We got podcasts and stuff and junk. All that good stuff. Ella Miller, how you doing? Happy birthday. You had a birthday this week.
I had a birthday on Thursday. It was kind of celebrated all weekend long. You know how these
As
things
it should
go.
be. As it should be.
But-
Because you are the queen of celebrations.
I had a great birthday. Between my wife and my friends, I started the day off with a 3-mile walk. And then everything went to heck when it comes to the health, because it was a health walk, fitness walk. We went to lunch at Little Goat.
Oh, see, it's proactive.
Yeah,
You were
right.
doing-
I was doing a little,
Proactive,
I
3
walked
miles.
to eat, I swim to eat.
There you go, yeah.
So then we stopped at Little Goat, had a fabulous lunch, and then there was the opening of Hotel Chocolate.
What is
which
that?
It is a new chocolatier. It's from London. I believe this is like the first U.S. location. It's the first Chicago location. There's another one that's going to open apparently, I think, on Michigan Avenue somewhere downtown.
Where is it now?
It's on Southport across from Coda de Volpe, the old Foxtrot, on the corner of, I think that's Henderson and Southport. And so I'm thinking, wow, it's opening day. We go over there. Sure enough, it was loaded with samples.
Oh, there we go. That's how they get you. That's how they get you.
We had drinking chocolate, sipping chocolate. We had designer chocolate.
Wait, what's the difference between a drinking chocolate and a sipping chocolate?
Well, the one was a
$30.
$30. They're both. I guess they're both drinking chocolates. One was a mocha and one was a straight chocolate. The other had some coffee in it. They did soft serve ice cream, like healthy portions, pieces of candy, anything we wanted to try. It was phenomenal. What a
Did
great.
you buy some stuff?
No, we didn't buy
Girl.
anything. No, we're going to come back and buy another time.
Okay,
we were on our fitness
just
walk.
having fitness walk and enjoying all
We'll
the
go
free
back.
samples.
But I didn't even want to look at chocolate after I left. I mean, it was
I bet.
so good. But I was like, wow, what a nice lunch. And then got flowers from my friend Natalie West, who's every year. Amy Morton, who's the actor from Steppenwolf, is one of Natalie's other dear friends, and we're both born on the same day. So she, for like 35 years, she sends flowers to both of us.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And beautiful. My Aunt Virginia sent me beautiful flowers.
Oh, come on.
And then I went out to a fabulous dinner at Le Petit Marcel, which is I forget what the bar was. It was a gay bar on the corner of Oakdale and Broadway.
Oakdale and Broadway.
It is a lovely little...
Where is Oakdale? That's south of Belmont, isn't it?
It's south of Belmont. Yeah, it's Wellington, Oakdale.
Huh.
It's Wellington.
I'm trying to feature
north.
a gay bar there, and I don't.
It's across from the Mexican place. Oh God, I can't think of it.
All right,
anyway,
well, but you went to Little Marcel.
Cesar's across. Yeah, Little Marcel.
Le Petit Marcel.
So I'm at the end of the night. I'm going to the restroom, and there's a piano player. When I walked in, he was in there, and it kind of reminded me of Casablanca. He's a good-looking, a little older African American gentleman playing the piano. And I said, "Oh darn, guy, we couldn't hear you in there." And he said, "Well, I'm playing again. I play brunch on Sundays." I go, "Oh, I got a radio show. I can't ever make brunch on Sundays." He goes, "What station are you on?" I go, WCPT. It's a LGBTQ show. He goes, "Out Chicago?
What?
You're Ellen Miller?
What?
Oh my God!" He's like, "Oh my God!" It was embarrassing. I was embarrassed. He wanted pictures.
Oh, that's so sweet.
But it was so sweet.
Yeah.
And then another woman said, "Excuse me, I just heard you talking about, you do a radio show?" She goes, I do a show on NPR, I do a show on I've got a story I want to share with you. Can we have lunch or coffee? It'd be great for your show. So we're going to be, it was her birthday too.
All right.
I just went to I was going like a half an hour. I'm like, well, Kathy's like, and my
Are
friend
you
Joyce.
okay?
I was going to come look. I go, I know, you probably wondered what the heck happened. Posing for pictures, getting phone numbers.
Greeting your public.
Greeting the public.
Yes.
So that was fun. And then from there, I go, let's just drive by Kingston Mines and see what's going on.
Okay. Yeah.
And my friend Cheryl Youngblood was playing, so we parked. We went in. She said, you're here. You got your harps. And
You were on
I
stage.
ended up doing
Yep.
Tennessee whiskey with her.
All righty. There we go.
And
there we go.
so I just had a great birthday. And the next day was opening day. But before I get to opening day, I do want to mention, I have a lot to talk about my social life. But Ron Chambers, he knows all about, he loves the stories. He says I loved your story about LA and how, you never know what people are listening to, what people want to hear, but I'm going to talk more about stuff that's fun. This is Sunny Afternoon, Chicago Shakespeare Theater. Anybody who is a Kinks fan, maybe even a mild Kinks fan, a big Kinks fan, this show is fantastic. It's a tad long. Could use a little
trimming,
but this is, but the actors, the musicians, the lead actor, he has a band in London. These are bona fide musicians that are playing the parts and acting. Just a phenomenal show, fun, on your feet. Go check it out. Sunny Afternoon. Go check it out before it goes to Broadway, because one of these days I think it will be.
All right, come on.
I'm always good about my Broadway predictions.
I know. With the Chicago Shakes.
Sunny Afternoon. Check it out. So it's going. I should see how long it's going. It's going for at least another 4 weeks, I believe, and I think it's probably going to be extended. Then I went to opening day, Wrigley Field. Bring your parka.
Come on.
A lot of fun. Stopped by the XRT broadcast and saw some old friends, and that was a blast. And I didn't have a ticket, and I was kind of hanging around the ballpark, looking on the big screen, and I was about to go home, and I saw my friend Mike Wheeler. He's a blues musician, dear friend, with his band. He goes, "What are you doing? Are you going to the game?" I go, "Nah, I don't have a ticket." And he goes, "Well, you do now. We got an extra."
All right.
So I went in and watched the game.
Nice.
And then that night we went to Jefferson Starship. My friend Kathy Richardson, friend to the show, friend of mine, friend of yours, and her band Jefferson Starship played, and it was a fun show. And she gave me a birthday shout out from the stage.
Nice.
Which was fabulous. And then last night, the social activism part came, because I couldn't make the rally. Real estate people don't care if you want to go to a rally or not when they want to see a house. So, but I did get to go to the AIDS Foundation Chicago 40th anniversary gala. They do the galas every 5 years. Scott has been the MC of the World of Chocolate that they've done. You are one of the judges.
No, but I've been passing judgment.
You've been passing
and I
judgment.
get when you're talking about hotel chocolate, about having too much chocolate.
Yeah,
Oof,
it is.
It
can be a lot.
Yeah.
But a couple of our friends were honored. State Representative Kelly Cassidy.
Yeah.
She got the Greg Harris Legislative Champion Award, as well as Mike Simmons, State Senator Mike Simmons. He also got the Greg Harris Legislative Champion Award. They both spoke. They were both fabulous. Ari Gatto was Master of Ceremonies. Angela Ingersoll, she's Emmy nominated for does Judy Garland.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so good.
I know Angela from Memphis, actually.
Really?
Yeah, and her husband. We when I moved to Memphis, they were both interns at Playhouse on the Square there, and we met. And her husband, Michael, we were supposed to do an independent film together, but he chopped his finger off with a saw in the workshop. He needed to be like medevaced. It was crazy, so they had to recast everything.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but the two of them, Michael, he was on tour with Jersey Boys. He was on tour with did Jersey Boys, and then he and some of the guys from the show, they put together a group called Under the Street Lamp, I believe.
Oh, okay.
That's what it's called. And Angela is a chameleon. We've actually had Angela on the show before.
I thought she sounded familiar.
Yeah, she did a bit. She did that play. It was a play with music about Judy Garland that I think Porchlight did a couple of years
I
ago.
think you're
She
right.
was nominated for a Jeff Award for that, and she I don't know. Actually, and she does her own concerts of Judy Garland. She's kind of channeled her.
Yeah.
And that was filmed for PBS.
And won an Emmy, or nominated for an Emmy.
Yeah.
So
She's a dynamo.
The program was great. I ran into my broker manager from Apr Properties was at the table next to me. We ran into Ken Mejia Beal was there, of course, and Sarah Feigenholz, who we hope to have on the show in the next couple of weeks. It just felt good to be there and contribute to the cause, and everybody looks so fabulous.
Yeah. When you go to those gay fundraisers, the bar is definitely raised on the looks.
And the money that was raised, tons, over 100,000 on the paddle.
Oh, wow! All right.
So
come on.
So I just feel blessed, Scott. I got a million great birthday greetings and wishes and calls, and oh my God, I just feel so lucky. And we got to find the joy where we can, because as we know, and we'll get to it later on in the next segments, It's tough out there right now.
It really is. It's really hard, and it's important to find community, and wherever you can find community, and for folks who are able to, to contribute that way financially in terms of like celebrating, because the AIDS Foundation Chicago does incredible work, and they are moving towards their Getting to Zero program,
by 2030.
By 2030, but of course that might be a little tricky because gay.
Funds were, they said, starting in January, they hired a law firm to get a lawsuit ready to go in anticipation of.
Oh, good, as they should.
And of course, the funds were cut, and then they filed the lawsuit, and then now they're back for now, but they're not sure how it's going to turn out.
Yeah, we never know.
But it's just,
yeah.
That's why I'm enjoying the joy when I can find it.
Well, that's amazing. It sounds like you had an incredible.
I did, Scott. How was your week?
Oh, my week was a mess. It was
sorry.
awful. I mean, it was just people are a little on edge, as we have noticed, and dealing with the public a lot, especially working in a grocery store these days. Let me tell you.
Groceries.
Yeah, let me tell you before. What?
I'll talk to you about that, and it's a Trump thing this week. Groceries.
Oh, yeah, that's stupid. It's an old-fashioned word. Mm-hmm. Whatever. That guy, just go away. Yeah, but people are stressed out there, and we're super duper busy, and you can see people are panic buying, and you can see.
Do you think they're panic eating too?
Oh, well, I am.
I've gained like 3 pounds,
girl,
and it's because of this.
Girl, well, wherever you keep those 3 pounds, you're keeping them must be in your hair because you look amazing.
Thank you.
I'm just shoving food in my face. It is like a constant self-soothing. But I think people are really freaked out.
People are really freaked out.
And this was like right before he announced the big tariff thing. Mm-hmm. We're going to tax some penguins and stuff like that. So like it's been kooky pants there. My poor dog had like a very loud seizure. My dog has epilepsy. He's been on like major drugs for 10 years, but he had a big one. And of course, and it happens
scary.
Like at 1 o'clock in the morning. So that's even more terrifying. You're like, and there's nothing you can do. So we had to deal with the dog, and then it rained the next day. So he was like just wiped out. And Mercury is definitely in retrograde. My car was held hostage by my garage for like an entire, I could not get my car out for a day. It was just kind of screwy, but things finally lightened up, and Jerry and I made it downtown to go to the Hands Off protest and rally yesterday.
Great. I
will tell you a little bit more about that because we seem to have run over, but let me... Yeah, so we're going to talk about it. And again, if you were down there at the Hands Off protest, or if you had a Hands Off protest wherever you are right now, we would love to hear from you. So give us a call, 773-763-9278. The number again, 773-763-9278. We'll get to your calls right after the break. But before we go, this part about Chicago is brought to you by Team Hochberg. If you are purchasing a new home or refinancing your existing home, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Suzanne called David after hearing him explain discount points on the radio because her son was purchasing a home in Colorado. Now, David answered Suzanne's questions and encouraged her son to call him for a free consultation. Suzanne was so impressed with the service David provided, she wrote this 5-star Google review. I sent David an email today with a question about discount points that I heard him speak about on the radio, and he called me back this evening with a complete explanation. I'm so impressed with his responsiveness and knowledge. David strongly encourages everyone to check out Team Hochberg's more than 500 5-star Google reviews from happy listeners like Suzanne. Team Hochberg has helped Susan and thousands of WCPT listeners, but they can't help if you don't call 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. That's 855-563-2843 or 56david.com. Lower.com, equal housing lender, NMLS 1124061. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, a little recap of people taking it to the streets. Taking it to the streets. And it to the streets. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
The Randy Rhoads Show.
Donald Trump is saying, we need Greenland. We have to take it. And if they don't understand why we need Greenland, then we'll just have to explain it to them. We could do this the easy way. We could do this the hard way. But we're taking Greenland. He actually has been saying this repeatedly. I think it's a distraction from Signalgate, which, by the way, do not let that go. Do not let that go.
Weekdays at 7 p.m. on WCPT.
This is a WCPT Civil Rights Snapshot. The COVID-19 pandemic showed the bravery, dedication, and intelligence our doctors and nurses had, regardless of their gender. However, this was not always the case. Back in the 1800s, the idea of a woman doctor was laughable. When Elizabeth Blackwell applied to Geneva Medical College, the students voted on whether or not to accept women into their school. The students agreed to it as a joke, thinking it would be funny to see women fail in their field. Elizabeth felt compelled to become a doctor after a conversation with a dying friend who told her that her ordeal had been that much worse because her physicians were all men. Many of her fellow students and the town shunned her, and one professor tried to scare her out of his class. Regardless, Elizabeth stayed determined and graduated, but after, the dean of her school said he did not wish for more women to enroll. Despite the sexist discrimination, Elizabeth contributed to the first generation of women doctors in America and even opened up her own hospital. And in 2017, for the first time ever, a majority of medical students in the United States were women. Please stay vigilant about our civil rights. The fight is never over.
If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender with over 500 five-star Google reviews. Kathy, 60, nurse, lives in a $600,000 home, called for a free consultation to consolidate over $30,000 of credit card debt she accumulated after her husband passed away. After we spoke, Kathy posted this five-star Google review. Quote, David was very helpful. He didn't try to sell me anything and advised me to keep my current mortgage because of my low rate. David offered me excellent advice, was very patient, kind, and knowledgeable. I highly recommend his services to anyone looking for a mortgage or any financial expertise. If you'd like this type of five-star service on your next mortgage, give us a call now at 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. That's 855-563-2843 or visit that website you know and love, 56david.com. Lower.com, equal housing lender, NMLS 1124061.
WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, where facts matter.
Hey, this is Kathy Richardson, America's sweetheart from Jefferson Starship, and you're listening to Out Chicago.
She is indeed America's sweetheart, Kathy Richardson.
So good. She's been with the band 17 years
Has
now.
it been that long?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. 17
Wow.
years. And Dave Freiberg, who was in the band, he wasn't an original member, but he was in Starship. 86.
Wow.
86.
All right. Come on.
And Donnie Baldwin, the drummer, was also in Starship. And he was the drummer on that song, Fooled Around and Fell in Love, the Elvin Bishop song.
Fooled around and fell in love.
I always liked that song.
Fooled around and fell in love. Oh, we're going to have to pay for that. All right.
That's a...
Well, all right. Come on now.
Yeah, Kathy. She's in Vegas on her way home. She left the next morning for
wow.
Vegas.
All right. Well,
the life of a touring rock star.
There you go. It happens. You got to go where the gigs are. Come on now. And you got to go where the people are.
The people.
Where the people are.
People spoke all over the world yesterday.
People spoke all over the world yesterday. Chicago, you done good. Yesterday was the Hands Off protest organized by Indivisible. I was so happy that so many people were there.
Me too.
There were, I think, I heard 20,000 plus, but you said on the
30,000
is what they said.
Was, yeah.
So there were about 30,000 folks down there. It was jam packed. Oddly enough, I kept running into my neighbors, literally the people that live in my courtyard or near me. It was very strange. Didn't run into anybody else. Oh, but a big old shout out to Will Casey, who I did Noises Off with it in Windy City Playhouse. Ran into him and his wife. So it was great to see you. And he said that we listen to you every Sunday. So hey there, Will. Thanks for listening. It was a big day out there.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people. We were a little far back, so we could not hear the speakers, which was a little bit of a bummer because I think there was I believe Brian Johnson spoke. I think Kelly Cassidy.
Yeah, I think she was there. She said,
there as well before going to the gala. The signs were amazing. I think one of my favorites was just a picture of Trump on the tennis court saying, "Does this ass make our country look small?" And you know what? It sure does. It sure does.
Smaller by the second.
Yeah, but and the one thing though that I was very happy about again was the number of people that were there. It was like the Red Line was packed getting down there. It was at Daily Plaza yesterday. There were some really great photographs.
Yeah, the aerial views were just fantastic.
When they and CBS News was there. Well, they're right across from Daily Plaza.
Right.
They turned the cameras on. Everybody turned over there, was just waving and screaming and holding up their signs. It was a really great day to to feel like you were a part of something. I know last week I got all theater nerdy about it, and I think it's kind of a really good metaphor. As I know, so when we were talking about Greek tragedy, which this feels as big as a Greek tragedy, because tragedies happen on very large things and they happen in public. Like all the Greek plays, they happen outside. And it was, the chorus is there to witness it. And a chorus is made up of a group of like-minded individuals. They're different people, but they all come together for one common cause. And it was great to see 30,000 people get out there and take to the streets. And the crowd makeup was very, very interesting.
Okay.
I will say there were not a lot of black and brown faces there, and I totally get it. Social media had been flooded for the week going up saying, hey, folks, we've been showing up regularly. And y'all don't do the work, and you're not there to help out. You're not doing it. We're going to sit this one out. We're sitting this one out, because they showed up for the Kamala. They showed up for everything and nothing. And so I get it. I totally get why they weren't there. And there were a lot of people over 65, I would say.
Yeah, all my friends were there.
All your friends. But it was one of those things like, it was and there were smatterings of young people. There was a really great cross section of our city. There was a lot of people who brought families down there, which to me was that was a huge vote of confidence, because I was a little nervous. Of going down there. It is my belief with the actions of this current ding dong in the White House, that he is just looking for an excuse to unleash a strong, dare I say, military presence, is what it seems like. He's champing at the bit to kind of all right, let's bust some heads. I was a little nervous, truthfully, going down there and seeing these kids. I was like, oh, okay. Look, friends, don't bring your dog. Don't bring your dog to a rally. Just don't. No. It's going to freak the dog out. It's going to freak people out. Just don't do it.
You're not doing your dog any favors.
Just don't do it. Don't do it. But there were people who were mad, and it was a lot of the people who are really worried based, with the tariffs that went into effect and the tanking economy, and everyone's watching their 401ks disappear. People who are hoping to retire soon are now having to well, I don't know if we can do that.
You're looking at one right here.
Now. Yeah.
And that's why so many over 65, because the impact for them is immediate.
Yeah.
If you're younger, you got plenty of time for it to come back. But
no. You're talking about Social Security. I mean, that impact.
I'm talking about 401ks.
And 401ks and all that stuff, and Social Security and all those things that they are coming after. And it is immediate. And I just don't think, but we have to realize, the younger folks need to realize that it's immediate for them too. This whole thing is very immediate. I was very shocked. I mean, I'm really shocked. Maybe I was shocked. To find out that a lot of people didn't even know that the rally was happening. And I'm not sure if it's just because of the way. Look, I am so proud of Indivisible as an organization. They are a grassroots organization that started up from the first time Ding Dong was elected. They put together a playbook of kind of this is how we can combat, how we can resist. And they've been a really incredible force. Again, a grassroots organization that are taking things forward. And for this to be their really first big national outing of something happening all in the same day, I was so amazed and pleased by the number. I mean, that's a huge number. 30,000 people is huge to have that, especially from something who's not going around. You know, the word is not out. Because I had to stop by and get some groceries, that old-fashioned word, and was talking to some folks, and they're like, yeah, I had no idea that it was going on, and I was ashamed to ask people who had like come through and were talking about that, how they had been at the protest, because I feel like I should have known, but I didn't. And I think that's a lot of people are just still checking out.
Well, that has to be. I mean, because the real, the way the word got out on it was social media. Those that may be checking out, as you said, aren't doing as much on social media, certainly not on Facebook or X, are going to miss out on. That's why, it's a thin line between trying to preserve your mental state and also staying involved, and informed on what's going on, because it does give you not only I love these marches because, when you're feeling bad about stuff and you think it's in your own head, you get there and everybody is there feeling the same thing.
You see that you're not alone.
And you're not alone. And you mentioned earlier, Scott, people they're anxious. They are depressed. People are in a funk,
oh, yeah.
And people my age, because they're looking at their, those that are, privileged and white, and they have a 401k. They worked in businesses over the years that provided, and they're seeing it shrink away as they're getting ready to draw from it. It is scary. It is a scary proposition because this guy's got no guardrails.
None.
And he is completely detached from reality. He is in his own wacky world. The island with the penguins. Someone said that this morning, one of the Sunday news shows said, did he use AI to figure out these,
Oh, the whole tariff,
the tariff
formula?
Yeah, the formula. So it's hard to wrap your arms around it. But when you see Cory Booker do what he did Monday into Tuesday, I was literally watching, we had it on, and I was in tears at the end because I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And especially because he broke Strom Thurmond's record, who was up there because he didn't want to vote for a Civil Rights Act.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of things going on, and an African-American man breaking his record. And Strom Thurmond, I guess, was reading from the encyclopedia and just wasting time. I didn't watch Cory Booker, obviously, the whole time, but he was speaking truth to power the whole time.
Mm-hmm. He really was. He really was, but and that sends a really strong message. And showing up to these rallies sends a really strong message. Probably not to the people that need to hear it, but it shows stuff to people around the world. People like international social medias are like, thank God, America, you finally showed up. And TikTok.
And there were protests in Greece, Athens, Greece. They had hands off. I mean, there's Americans living there, or people that are empathetic to what we're doing, all over the world. Not 30,000 people like we had here in cities like Chicago, but
Boston was bananas. Oh my gosh, yeah.
I knew it was going to be big because people are just dying to get out and be among other like-minded people and just express their hope and their fears and all of it as a group about what we have to do here.
Yeah, that's what it is. And again, these protests that have been popping up all over the place, whether they be at Tesla dealerships, there was the Trans Day of Visibility rally that happened last Sunday where there were 5,000 people that showed up. That's amazing.
That is beautiful.
To have that, to be, again, people going to the street, and what it's demonstrating is that if people who are on the edge of they're kind of wishy-washy, do I go? Do I do this? Is this going to matter? You'll see people out there who believe that this does matter. And by showing up, you're encouraging other people to show up and to become involved. So it's just it was a very powerful day.
Yeah. I mean, as you said, those that need to watch it, we're golfing, but there are Republican Congress people, senators they're feeling this already, and they can see the numbers when they see the aerial views all over the country of how people are feeling. They're the ones that can save us from them. from what's happening. It's only the Republicans.
Mike
it's
Johnson could stop all the tariffs just by bringing it up to a vote because Ding Dong declared a national emergency. But somehow he passed this resolution within the House that makes the entire year of this term be considered as one day. So when the president has declared a national emergency, basically with these tariffs, what's happening here, and then when that happens, the Congress and Senate, they have a finite amount of time to address this action.
Okay.
It's usually there's a finite amount of time, days. But he has gone and he has said that this entire year is one calendar day. So that it will never come to a vote. They could end it. By just saying, this is ridiculous. What are you doing? You are hurting the American people. You are hurting the American economy in a huge way.
And that's a bipartisan issue.
That is a bipartisan issue. And I think all these other ding-dongs who are, they're looking at their 401ks going along. They think their Medicaid is going to be on the chopping block. There's a lot of stuff that is happening. And they could do it, but they just don't.
No,
but
we got to keep keeping the pressure on because
that's what it comes to.
Yeah.
We've got to keep the pressure on.
We must.
We have to keep the pressure on, but especially down in the more red districts. Even I didn't even look to see what it was like in Springfield for the hands off. If there was, I'm assuming there was one there. So, but I don't know the numbers of that. But we just have to keep on it. That's the thing, and it is up to us. We, again,
power to the people.
When things get too big, you're looking at all these gigantic things. Bring it down small. What can you do to affect change in your community? What is it? And that, I think, that's helpful. It was very, very helpful to be there with my partner, and we're there holding signs like hands off LGBTQ plus rights. That's a huge thing, hands off Social Security, hands off education. There are signs that were there are too many things to fit onto one sign, and people are getting out there. And my question is to you again, what will it take for you to step out and have your voice heard? What is the limit for you? This is only 2 months into this. It's going to be a long haul. It's going to be a really long, ugly haul. And we have got to change it. We, the people, have got to change it. What is your limit? Is it the tanking economy? Is it messing with Social Security or Medicaid? Is it the disappearing of international students? Is it sending people into prison in El Salvador with no due process? Is it imposing tariffs willy-nilly using whatever strange sort of thing they're doing, including tariffs on an island that is inhabited by penguins? What is it defunding schools, defunding museums? Is it changing history? They are erasing history, literally erasing history. Or is it just, the defense guy drunk texting war plans on an app? What is it that is going to get you, that's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back? I have a friend who's as soon as my dad no longer gets his Social Security checks delivered to him, that's it. That's it. She knows exactly what her breaking point is. We need to make sure that we are getting out there. And by doing so, we are an example to other people who are able to go out and hopefully get their voices heard. We do have callers on the line, but we have to take a break. So callers, please hang on there. We would love to hear from you again. 773-763-9278. We'll get to your calls on the other side of this break. So please stick around. You're listening to Out Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
The Hal Sparks radio program.
I don't mind talking to trolls. I don't mind talking to ever-Trumpers. I really don't, you guys. And I'm not one of these people who automatically vilifies all Republicans or can't talk to a conservative and understand that they believe in their ideology. I'm not one of those guys. But I damn sure I'm going to push back. And I'm not going to wilt when you yell fake news.
Hal Sparks, Saturdays from 11 to 1 on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
You know that you can listen to Chicago's Progressive Talk on WCPT AM 820. Stream us live at WCPT820.com and on the TuneIn Radio app. Or you can ask Alexa, Siri, or Google to play WCPT from TuneIn. But now you have another option. We're simulcasting our programming overnight. 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. on WSBC AM 1240 for a clearer reception in and around the city. Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820. And now overnights on WSBC 1240 AM, where facts matter.
Are you a parent of a 2 to 8-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting offer, then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it for free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensated for their testimonials, sponsored by Age of Learning.
WCPT Replay.
On the line with us is none other than Cliff Cash.
You got to be loud. You got to show up. You got to stand up. You got to speak up. And I get if you live in a red area or a red neighborhood or you have really red friends or family, it doesn't matter. Fascists feed on fear. If you ever wondered what you might have done during the Civil Rights Movement or during Nazi Germany or during any other pivotal time in history, you don't have to wonder, because what you would have done is what you're doing now. And if you're being fearful and quiet, then you're part of the problem, and you would have been in those historic moments as well. So put a sign in your yard, post on social media, and take these people to task. And all you have to do is learn the truth, because they're going around screaming lies. And only about half of us are out here even whispering the truth.
Keep listening to WCPT 820. Because facts matter.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Comedy duo Pink Pony. Welcome to Out Chicago on WCPT.
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller, rolling along. We were talking about the hands-off protest that happened yesterday here in Chicago and thousands other places across the country
and world.
Multiple places in the same states. I know there were protests in Evanston. There was a small one in Andersonville. Closer to the Breakers, where that retirement living that is up there. You have old people in wheelchairs out there holding up signs about Social Security and about Medicaid. Mm-hmm. Issues getting real. Yeah. Kiddos, issues getting real. Let's go to the phone. Steve in the Gold Coast. Welcome. You're on Out Chicago.
Yes. Sorry, just getting in the car here. But, this couldn't be a more important topic. And the reality is that in many ways I can see that we were preaching to the choir. The people that showed up or were aware of what was going on, that we were the ones who were yelling and screaming about this during the election. This is what's going to happen. So, I don't want to do the I told you so, but we told you so.
Yeah.
And now it's incumbent upon us to get as many people who were in the center, people who decided, well, you know what, I turned out to vote in 2020, but I didn't turn out in 2024.
Yeah. Yes, that's a big problem.
And then you can actually get some common sense Republicans, because they were the same people who, again, in places like Wisconsin and Ohio and Michigan and other states, they're the ones who turned out and got Joe Biden elected in 2020 and then either voted for Trump again or sat out.
Yep.
And let's face it, a lot of the billionaire class said to themselves, with the tax cuts about to expire, well, hey, he's promising us a new set of tax cuts. And focusing on that made them entirely blind to the notion that, but by the way, on the other side of the equation, he's going to cost us far more in terms of an economic downside, because nobody on the Republican side is advocating for doing away with this global trade regime, which lowers prices, allows us to have things in this country that we don't necessarily want to produce any longer. We do not need a sweat stock industry in America. We can buy those things from other places. And even if you assume that you want to change that dynamic, you cannot do that overnight. Yeah. It is not going to happen tomorrow. It's going to take 5 or 10 years to bring a factory online.
Yeah, factories are not going to just magically grow up out of the ground over. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and lastly, look, this is 2025. A factory that you're going to plan and build in the next 5 to 10 years is going to have 1/10 the workers that your father's or grandfather's plant had. So this idea that we're going to all of a sudden hire 10,000 people because that's what it looked like in 1960. No, you're going to hire 500 people and the rest is going to be automated.
Yep.
I mean, this is backwards from beginning to end. Economists think it's backwards, conservatives, liberals. I mean, but this is what happens when you elect a crazy man.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But thank you, Steve.
All good points, and I agree with all of it. Thank you.
Totally get it.
Thanks, Steve.
This whole notion of we're bringing back American industry. I'm like, well, wait, you were the guys that got rid of it in the first place. You were the ones, the conservative big corporations were the ones that started outsourcing all of your call centers, your manufacturing to other countries. You guys did this. And do you think that just, a factory, a Toyota factory is just going to pop up overnight? Not at all. And
it's going to be robotic. And we've seen over the years, there's less and less people who want those jobs in this country. If you go to factories over the last 30, 40 years, many of those jobs were immigrants that were doing those jobs. If you go to meatpacking factories around the country, there's no Americans that want to do that job, okay? No, and there's none. And if you want to hire Americans to do it, you're going to pay dearly if you can find those that want to do it. And your costs are still going to go rise. The whole thing is false. He's been holding on to, this has been a dream of his. Who gives a flying you-know-what about his dream? His dreams are ridiculous, and they're not based in economic sense. He did not call on economic geniuses to give him any advice here. He's the only genius in the room. He was according to him. He was thinking about these literally a couple hours beforehand. You can't, just upsetting the global economy.
Oh, and also what a coward to wait to announce the tariffs until after the closing bell went down. It's because he knew that it was going to be a huge cluster.
He's going back on his campaign promises because that's the people that voted for him again, like Steve was saying, that maybe didn't vote for him in 2020 because they didn't like that they were paying a lot for eggs. Take a look. He doesn't care about you now. You're going to be paying a lot for everything. He never cared about you. He never cared about you.
Yep.
And keeping the price of things lower. That's the pain we have to deal with now. For what, and then there is no, in 10 years, 5 years.
Yeah, it's an exciting time to be alive.
Oh, my goodness.
An exciting time.
Yes, it is.
Let's go to the phone. Shirley in Willowbrook. Welcome. You're on Out Chicago.
Hi, this is Shirley. I've been spending the past couple of weeks calling, my congressmen and, my senators to restore the Zadroga Act, if you're familiar with that. That is to provide, it's like health care, to the first responders. Yes, and
for
people
9/11.
who showed up after 9/11. To take health care away from those people would be criminal. I have bits and pieces of a friend of mine that are buried in Clarendon Hills Cemetery because you have first responders who showed up to find a few bits and pieces to send home to his family. In addition, you had people show up from various parts of our country, including a bunch of iron workers from, Mackinac City, Michigan. They drove all night long from Mackinac City, to New York. They should be taken care of.
Yep.
The hospitals in New York City are taking care of these people. Many of these people were very young. Even the golden retrievers and the German shepherds showed up. The least our government can do is show up and take care of these people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shirley.
Thanks for your activism. Appreciate it.
And thank you for calling in today, and thank you for calling your elected officials. That's going on. Yeah, but they're trying to do it to the 9/11 first responders is just ridiculous.
There's nothing patriotic about him.
And then you have the 9/11 conspiracy theorist Laura Loomer going into having direct going into the Oval Office with Ding Dong and bragging about how she's responsible for firing people from the Security Council. Like, it's bananas. It is like every day feels kind of like, is this real life? It feels like that little kid that was that like a Vine meme that just came out of surgery. It's like, is this real life? Is this happening? That's kind of what it feels like right now. And then you have people like, I'm so mad at Mitch McConnell. Like, Mitch McConnell and Kevin McCarthy could have stopped this on January 7th in the wee hours of the morning, and they did not do it. And now Mitch McConnell is trying to save grace by he's like, oh, look, we're going to vote.
Too late.
I'm going to vote to stop the tariffs on Canada, which is going to go back to the House. And then, of course, they're not going to do anything because of Ding Dong over there. Ugh.
Too little, too late.
It's very disheartening, but where we have to find hope and comfort again is in community. It is in finding the people who are with you. During the break we were talking about, and we've talked about this before on the show, about how one of the biggest challenges for the left is that it is such a big umbrella.
Yeah, so many issues.
It is such a big umbrella. We have one of everybody in here. And then on the right, there's everybody's entitled for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But for the right, it is only their version of what that looks like.
Their version
of what that looks like. Because I'm confused how somebody practicing another religion is going to affect you and your beliefs. How somebody who's getting married is going to affect your marriage over here. How somebody who just wants to go to school and use a restroom that matches their gender identity. How that bothers, how that affects you.
They have to look deep within and ask themselves that, because it's ridiculous. If people are finding love, and you should never deny anybody their religion, how they want to pray, how they want to love. This is what this country really is, not what your version of it is, not what their version of it is.
It is very strange to me, it's just mind-boggling. So we need to make sure again, like, what is it gonna take? What is it gonna take for you? Because clearly, we have people who have been elected who will not hear anything until we get loud. And we're going to have to get loud and nonviolent and respectful. Go out there and do your thing and have your voice heard. And that I think is going to be the big key to what is happening in this country, because it's just the Third Reich is just driving me crazy right now.
Maybe we should all get on Truth Social and just diss Trump too, because he reads that regularly. That's his thing. So, maybe we fight him on social media too.
Well, but that's the big problem right now is, and even if you do that, your accounts will be shut down or whatever. They will start censoring people on social media. The police of free speech, that's the big tricky thing is so much of what is being consumed, the news that people are consuming is from social media, and then we have like a couple of people who are controlling social media, who control
and censoring social media.
Yes, and control how the things. So free speech. There we are.
There we are.
All right, kids, we're gonna take a break.
We have a lot more hope in the second hour.
We're gonna regroup here. And we're going to take a little breaky poo. Listen to some news, and when we come back, it is the second hour of Out Chicago right here on WCPT Heartland Signal.
The Randy Rhoads Show.
Oh, congratulations to the Fox and Friends weekend morning host, who's now our Secretary of Defense. He's a veteran, everybody. I know, I'm a veteran too. I'm pretty sure I wasn't on any of Kamala's short list for any cabinet position, but oh my God, these pits, it's almost like Well, there's a word for it. It's called patronage. Right here, right now on WCPT 820, weekdays 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time.
Tune into the Tom Hartman radio program, your home for news, opinion, and insight, right here on WCPT 820, where facts matter.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Carton. Life-threatening weather conditions are hitting today across multiple states. At least 15 people have died so far from the relentless storms battering the south-central U.S. Meteorologist Michelle Grossman says the region has been dealing with tornadoes, flash flooding, and severe storms for days.
We're looking at heavy rain falling. We have flood warnings. We have flash flood emergencies. That is life-threatening. That is catastrophic, and it comes quickly. We're going to see river flooding, too, over the next several days. That takes a little bit longer to get going.
Severe flood warnings are in effect today for parts of Memphis, Tennessee, and Little Rock, Arkansas, and there are tornado watches in Louisiana, Alabama, and Georgia. Rain totals in the area could top 15 inches in some parts by the time the storm ends later tonight. Over 1 million people took part in anti-Trump protests Saturday. Rallies were held in all 50 states as well as other countries in response to the Trump administration's actions. In D.C., Reverend William Barber II.
When Trump and Musk and their minions are signing unconstitutional executive orders, unconstitutionally firing people, trying to pass an unjust budget, when they are doing this, we must say, take your hands off of our democracy.
Organizers of the hands-off protests say they have 3 demands: an end to the billionaire takeover of the Trump administration, an end to slashing federal funds for Medicaid, Social Security, and other programs working people rely on, and an end to the attacks on immigrants, trans people, and other communities. British carmaker Jaguar Land Rover Automotive is pausing shipments to the U.S. as President Trump's tariffs took effect. The company described the move as a short-term action as it works on developing a plan to adjust to the new economic landscape. The Trump administration's 25% tariffs on imported cars and light trucks began April 3rd. Lisa Carton, NBC News Radio.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
Tired of all those talking heads down the dial who think they're always right?
People need to just calm down. It's gotten ridiculous.
Welcome to WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Quite frankly, I get most of my news from you.
This is WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
The family meeting.
This is Dr. Sharon Bethea. She's at Northeastern Illinois. It's to teach us about the history of Haiti and think about this in the context of colonization that has caused things like what we see going on at our southern border.
When we talk about colonization, they choose to destroy and kill and massacre the people. So that began to happen. Indigenous people of that land begin to die out because they fought diseases and wars.
Sundays 4 to 6 p.m., the family meeting.
This is the WCPT Moment in Labor. In 2011, 6 Jimmy John's employees in Minneapolis were fired by their franchise-owning company, Mickey Lynn Enterprises, after fighting for paid sick days. This is a common theme in the union-free world of fast food. Over 13 million Americans work in the fast food industry, making an average of $13,500 a year, not even half the average cost of living. 80% of fast food workers have experienced work-related injuries, and only 13% were covered by their employer. A group of employees referred to as the Jimmy John's Six fought for these rights, creating an online campaign, posting a picture of 2 sandwiches saying one of these was made by a healthy employee, the other was made by a sick employee. Can you tell the difference? Too bad, as Jimmy John's workers do not get paid sick days. Help workers win sick days. More than 32 million Americans work a job that does not offer paid sick days. This has been a WCPT Moment in Labor. We're working for your rights.
You're listening to WCPT 820, because facts matter.
I'd like to welcome you to WCPT AM's Out Chicago. Think of us as Sunday brunch with your gay best friends. Now please welcome your host, Scott Duff.
And welcome back to the second hour of Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ella Miller.
Solving the world's problems.
Solving the world problems.
During the break.
There we are, during the break, and all that good stuff. stuff.
Yes.
Switching gears for happiness and joy and art and creativity.
As promised.
A little bit later on this hour, we're going to be speaking with Carolyn Pinta from Pinta Pride Project. They are the good folks who are behind the Buffalo Grove Pride Parade, and they've been kicking some serious butt out there in the burbs.
Yes, they
with
have.
some hardcore activism. We're going to be been with her a little bit.
It hasn't been easy either, but
It
they
most
have
certainly
done it.
has not.
They have
She's had
done
to
it.
deal with a lot of stuff that's going on. People are bold right now. Let's just say that. But in the meantime, y'all, I say this every time we have them on the show. Hell in a Handbag Productions is a gift to Chicago theater. It is the place to go for camp-tastic wrongness that is the most wonderful and delicious and wrong kind of art.
Yes.
I love them.
Wrong in the right way.
Wrong in the right way. And they are continuing their 24-25 season with the world premiere of Scary Town, a semi-autobiographical tale of a little brown bunny. A little brown bunny that uncovers the secret that rocks his world, written by artistic director David Cerda and the most prolific playwright in Chicago. And joining us once again is the one and only David Cerda. Hello, sweetie.
Oh.
How are you, my friend?
Oh, my God. I'm a little tired.
I bet y'all are
great.
in it. You're in the thick of things right now with Scary Town getting ready to start performances on the 9th. But, girl, what sort of shenanigans and madness have you concocted this time? I'm always like, I love your scary, terrifying brain.
This one's a little more serious, I guess, is the word. And I don't mean serious like 12 Angry Men serious.
Right.
Okay. Don't
12
scare
Angry
us.
Bunnies.
Don't scare us, David.
It could be 12 Angry Bunnies.
Right. This is a play based on my life, actually, an event in my life, and it's about a little brown bunny who finds out something from about himself and his family and his mother that changes like his whole existence, and it's based on me finding out that my my biological father was not who I thought it was.
Oh,
wow. And
that's heavy.
Yeah. And it actually took about 45 years from when I found out till recently, where I met my biological father. Miraculously, he's still alive. But I couldn't do a play that spanned over 40. We didn't want the Thornbirds.
Oh yeah, no. Or do we want the Thornbirds?
I don't know. I
think we might want the Thornbirds. Especially done by Helena Handbag.
Yeah, I would be the only. I want love.
We can make it though a nun. But anyway, go on.
Yeah. And so it's about somebody who when you grow up, you live an existence that you think is true because your parents tell you it's true, and you grow up trusting and believing what your parents say. And then when you reach a certain age, like when I became a teenager, I just started realizing, wait a minute.
Wait, something is different.
Yeah, and like this is wrong, and this is wrong, and so rather than do a typical like kitchen sink drama, I decided to make it like a storybook town, like based on the books of Richard Scarry.
Yes,
where the animals wear clothes and they live in harmony, and all these different species, like cats and dogs, are friends.
Yes, I totally remember the Richard Scarry books. They're all just so like a cute, fuzzy, happy bunny kitty kind of things.
Officer Dog conducts the traffic, and
right?
Mrs. Cat is the baker, and so it's based in that kind of town, and it's about a 13-year-old new wave punk boy who finds the paperwork, just like I did. That led to his journey to find his real dad.
Wow. So what was the impetus to? I mean, like I'm so excited about this show. I mean, just because, again, it's you. I tell you this all the time. You are the most prolific playwright in Chicago. Mm-hmm. You are.
If I don't, I won't eat.
Yeah, you really, but and for you to able to take such a big, heavy topic and to put it on its ear, filter it through this sort of stylized telling of this Richard Scarry books.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
So why do you think it was like this moment? Like, this is the story that I want to tell right now, and this is how I want to tell it.
I've been wanting to tell the story for a long time, like for about the past 10 years, but I didn't meet in real life. I didn't meet my father until right before COVID began.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's when all of a sudden, I had pieces of the puzzle,
mm-hmm.
But I didn't have enough information to find him because the last name was it was Hispanic and it was so common.
Mm-hmm.
And so it took me, and then suddenly I got a message on Facebook from my half-sister, and when I saw her name, I knew right away, and then I had a talk with my mom's best friend from high school, and suddenly it all fell into place, and I got so tired of not talking about it, and because of what my family might think. And my mom's gone now. It's really a relationship between myself and my mother, which was very complicated. I love my mother very much, but when we didn't get along, we didn't get along.
Yeah.
And my mother it's about finding out that your parents were people before they were parents.
Right.
Even though they're bunnies.
Yeah.
It's finding out that your parents had all the same struggles, probably worse, because of the times they lived in.
Mm-hmm.
But my mother ended up finding out that she was big dreams. She was kind of wild, and I'm from Northwest Indiana, and so my mother came of age going to Calumet City. And Calumet City was like Sin City back then, in the late 50s and 60s. And so I just found out all these things about my mom where she was like, I can see why she didn't want to talk about it, and it's not as bad as she was. I'm not saying she was like turning tricks on the corner.
No, but that is a really huge moment that I think everybody has when you realize that your parents, they're actually people.
Mm-hmm.
Who had lives before you were even around.
Right.
They were doing stuff.
And there's just so much drama in it. It's very much like the kinds of movies I like, the old movies with that were like soap operas, the Joan Crawford, Lana Turner movies, where the long-suffering woman struggles. And I found out that she struggled to keep me. I was taken away when I was born.
Mm-hmm.
And she fought the Catholic Church to get me, and she worked in a nightclub, and she was a hostess.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just all this crazy, crazy stuff. And I was just like, and this is one of those things where everybody in the family knew about this but me. And my family is white.
Mm-hmm.
My dad, the dad who adopted me is brown. I'm Mexican and Italian and Irish, and I'm the only one that has black hair and beige skin. With my brothers and sisters, they're all white with hazel eyes and brown hair, and I never thought anything of it because I was told, well, you just turned out different.
Right.
And that's true. You did. So did your mother know that you knew before she passed away?
Oh, yeah. I confronted her twice before it finally came out, and she denied it both times. And then finally there was a family gathering, and it happened at a family gathering. And it was just like, tell me. You know?
Right, like in the true Italian fashion there, right? You know?
It was
Was it out on the lawn?
Yeah.
Please tell me it was out on the lawn.
No, it was at my Nana's house.
Okay.
My Nana and Grandpa's house.
Yeah.
And I was over 20, so I was drinking because you were encouraged to drink in my family once you were... like everybody drank. The dog drank.
Right.
And so that's how it came out. And still, we didn't talk for a long time, and then we started talking. But it really, literally, I met him when I was right at the beginning of COVID. So it took that long.
Like 5 years ago.
Now, yeah, and he's still alive, and and my other dad is, my dad who raised me, who I call my dad, is still alive. So I have two dads now. No mom. My mom passed away. We had made amends by then, and I helped.
Thank goodness for that. How was the writing process, David, for this one different from your previous works due to the sensitive personal nature of the material you're writing about?
It's a lot harder to write, and it took me a long time. And even though it is, it's a family of rabbits and everything, I really wanted to find the humanity in my mother and let people know what she was going through, what I was going through. But also, I wanted it to be funny because I think it's funny still. I think it's ridiculous. I think. Everyone says, "Oh, you do all these campy plays," and I was just like, "That's because life is ridiculous." It's really, to me, it's just like, what? I mean, look at this current situation we're in. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah, what the heck, indeed.
Yeah, and I saw you went to the protest yesterday, and I thank you so much. I was in tech for 10 hours, so I couldn't go.
Oh, well,
Thank you.
I'm doing it for everybody who couldn't get down there, of course. Of course. But so as you are working on this play, and David, you're just an inherently a funny person. You are a funny person. You look through things. You see life through like a funhouse mirror and or a prism, and it's wonderful. And I'm a funny person, I will say. I'm just going to say that. But and I'm also funny that way. But I found that, sometimes there are things that aren't funny.
Right.
And I know that you view things like, make reality is ridiculous and the ridiculous is reality for many things. How, what were some of the biggest challenges of really finding the funny, or were there? I might just be projecting on you because I need therapy.
Really finding the funny was, there were moments when it's not funny,
right?
And I do try to have those moments. My family had a lot of dysfunction. I grew up in a very chaotic household. And my mother, I think life had kind of crushed her will, the spark inside her. And you see it once in a while, but unfortunately a lot of times the spark was ignited by alcohol. And, when you live in the area of Northwest Indiana I lived in, a lot of people, their only way to escape was through substances.
Yeah.
When I look back at where I grew up, and I still visit there now, there's a lot of substance abuse there. And it's, when I see these people talking about how great their life was, I belong to these Facebook groups like Northwest Indiana and Hammond and this. And it's like, oh, I miss the old days, the old downtown. It's like, it was dumb.
Right.
What do you miss about it?
What do you miss about it?
And I was, at an early age, I was one of those kids that worried a lot. I was depressed. I didn't feel safe in my own house. And it really weighs on you. And it really, it really shapes who you are today. And one of the reasons I'm funny is because of that, is because I had to find a way to look at things differently and escape. And then on top of that, I was like a big gay kid,
right,
who was effeminate, and people were, I was getting it on both sides.
Yeah. No, I hear that. Look, I learned the power of laughter, making people laugh is that they are laughing. They can't
I would
hit
like
you.
do impressions of other students and teachers.
Yep.
And look at her.
I get it. I get it. It stops the bullies in their tracks and everything. And I just love the way that you are approaching this very serious material through the lens and the conceit of a children's storybook that is populated with bunnies. So we've got bunnies in there. What sort of animals are we going to see coming through the scary town?
Mrs. Water Buffalo.
Okay, of course.
And Devin's best friends are Penelope, a goth porcupine, and Willie the Worm, who's kind of a nerd. And there's other bunnies. There's gay Uncle Bruce and Granny Bunny, his confidant. And I was very close to my grandparents because I found out that I lived with them for the first, almost 4 years of my life. And I sort of remember it. And so, but I always wondered why I felt so great around them. And so their Granny's in there, and there's, rats and
a whole menagerie. But will there be reindeer nipples? That is
not this season.
Not this season. It's not the holidays. Sorry, I keep going back to Snow Girl.
Yeah, there might be reindeer. There might be a lot more reindeers in our Christmas show.
Oh, okay. Good. Cool.
Housewives of the North Pole.
Thank goodness.
So what do you?
Very silly.
What do you like? Again, Helena Handbag. You have the most loyal theater. You have a loyal audience base. They are there for you through thick and thin. And hopefully there'll be more people who are going to be coming to go check out Scary Town at the Clutch in Lincoln.
Hopefully they'll be here.
Yeah. No, they will be. Girl, they are tried and true. These people, I'm one of them. I just adore what you all do.
Every show, though, I think, what if nobody comes?
Right. Well, that's just called being an artist.
Yeah, exactly.
But you want to make sure that you go and check out this heartwarming tale of a bunny.
Yeah,
doesn't love that?
It's a very intimate space.
Yeah, at the Clutch.
We've been really remodeling it, turning it into a performance space, and I love it.
What's the Clutch for those of us that aren't familiar with it?
Where is it? Or
what was the space? Was it a theater space? Or was it something else that's been
I think it
transformed?
used to be a church.
Okay.
It used to be a church that that had a really bad view. I did research on it, and it's being gay could cause you to be deaf.
Oh, gosh.
That was my favorite one.
So you're excising all of those all the bad juju going away now.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And it's a 1,700 square foot performance space, and we've transformed it with lights and sound equipment and into a small little boutique theater. Performance rehearsal space.
It will be a wonderful. Look, I'm telling you, if anybody can turn a small space into make magic places, I've seen it's you. I've seen y'all at Mary's Attic on a little tiny 12-foot stage. I've seen y'all at the Den. Still, one of my favorite things that I've ever seen in Chicago is Poor People. One of the best things on the planet. There we are.
That show that was snubbed by the Just.
It was. I know.
How dare they?
I know. Girl, I'm glad you got that dig in there because I agree with you. That was Poor People was one of the musical was one of the funniest, most brilliant things on the planet.
What?
And I am so looking forward to seeing Scary Town that starts performances on April 9th, and it runs through May 11th at the Clutch in the Lincoln Square neighborhood.
4335 Northwestern.
There we go. And so for tickets and for more information just about this wonderful, just wrong wrong in the best way theater company, go to handbagproductions.org. David Cerda, I love you more than my panties. I want you to have.
Thank you.
I want you to have good luck with this week. I know this week is going to be great. It's long. You're in tech and break legs as you start performances. Again, Helena Handbag presents the world premiere of David Cerda's Scary Town. It runs April 9th through May 11th at the Clutch in the Lincoln Square neighborhood. Handbagproductions.org is where you need to go to get all of your tickets. David Cerda, break legs.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Keep doing what you both are doing. We need you now more than ever.
Oh, well, thank you.
We need you too. Thanks.
We do. We need to laugh. It's a little.
Hey, Tyler.
Please, oh God. All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, there's more of Chicago right here at WCPT.
Get ready, Chicago, to ignite your mind and spark the conversation. Introducing The Lightning Strike, a bold new talk radio show that challenges the status quo and empowers you to think critically. Join host Mohammed Fahim every Sunday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on AM 820 WCPT as he dives deep into the most pressing issues of our time. From politics to social justice, environmental issues to technology, no topic is off limits on The Lightning Strike. The Lightning Strike, where ideas collide and minds are electrified. Sunday mornings will never be the same
This is
again.
WCPT Civil Rights Snapshot. When the United States entered World War II, President Franklin Roosevelt believed that Major League Baseball should continue despite most of the players being off defending their country in the war. Worried about the future of the sport, Philip Wrigley founded the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League in 1943. Despite being the first league for women, the league did not want any racial integration and turned away pitcher Mamie Johnson because she was black. But Johnson's love for the game did not let this stop her, as Johnson and two other women of color tried out for the Negro Leagues, and all three of them were then signed by the Indianapolis Clowns. The three women faced struggles from their male counterparts, but won over the league and the fans with their playing ability. During their run, the Clowns had the highest attendance, beating out any team in Major League Baseball and the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League. Please stay vigilant about our civil rights. The fight is never over.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
I'm Jen Grosshandler.
And I'm Chizzy Grosshandler.
We're with the Gender Cool Project, and you're listening to
Out Chicago!
Woot!
Woot! Woot! Woot! I say, welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here and Ellen Miller. Hey, look, people are taking to the streets. They're going to be taking it to the streets in June for Pride Month. And Buffalo Grove Pride Parade is coming up on June 1st. And they just announced the Grand Marshals.
Really? Who are they going to have?
It's us!
No!
It
is. It's us.
Yeah. So excited about this. And joining us now is the tremendous force behind the Pinta Pride Project, Carolyn Pinta. Hello, my friend.
Good morning, Grand Marshals. How are you?
We are doing fine
grand,
and
thank
dandy.
you.
We are grand and fabulous.
And excited.
I know. First, thank you so much for having us. We were thrilled to find out that, like, when you asked us, we're thrilled to find out that things are finally, I think, are going to work out and everything. So thank you. How many, this is what, the...
No, thank you.
Oh, Pshaw. What number is this of the Pride Parade?
This will be 7.
That's what I thought.
Oh, wow.
Holy smokes. That is just amazing. And
time is passing.
Time is passing. And girl, let me tell you, just beyond just the Buffalo Grove Pride Parade that the Pinta Pride Project is behind, y'all have just been on fire out there getting your voices heard out in the suburbs. How are things going out there? You organized a protest yesterday.
Oh my gosh. We feel the same way you feel. WCPT keeps me sane. All I listen to in the car, right? I
spread the word.
And that's all you can do is raise your voice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And lucky because of the Pride Parade that it's pretty easy for me with contacts to throw something together, and it's not a big deal to get any kind of permitting or anything. They actually will trust me to do something and leave me alone. Yay.
Yeah.
So
Yay.
bring people out to be loudmouths on a street corner. And, you know, the best part about it, as you know, I know you guys were at a protest yesterday, that just the camaraderie of knowing there's so many more of us than there are of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yesterday, how was your turnout? Because you seemed like you had a pretty good turnout for Buffalo Grove.
It was great. I'm going to say it was between 500 and 600.
Amazing.
But you know what? Let me give a shout out. I have several activist friends in the area that run different groups. There's a progressive Palatine. There's somebody in Arlington Heights. We were the smallest one. Hear that down in, was it Gurnee, they had 3,000 people. Mm-hmm. Arlington Heights had 1,000 people. I mean, within a 10-mile radius of us, they were all in the streets. Now, did it look like Chicago? No. But what I love about doing it out here is that we can get those people who want to be involved but won't be involved if they have to go down to the city.
True.
They don't walk well. They're scared, whatever the issue may be. And it's not like we can say to them, well, too bad, you got to go to the city. They just won't participate. But offering it out here, they come. They come out. It's great.
Mm-hmm. And,
beautiful.
Yeah, and it's something that, what we've been talking about the past couple of weeks. It's like, well, when these protests, they might seem, not as huge as Chicago or whatever, or these larger cities, even these smaller, protests at Tesla dealerships. But it is showing people that there are other folks who have had it up to here. They're mad as hell. They're not going to take it any longer, and that they're out on the streets. And I think what you are doing is you are actively living your values, and you are demonstrating behavior that I'm very confident that people will say, well, if they can go out and do this, I can join them the next time.
There's safety in numbers.
There's something about that. and it's not even safety in numbers. It's about community. Safety is, that's one thing.
But I mean, someone who grew up in the northwest suburbs, they've always been Republican leaning, although in the last couple of presidential elections, it is not, they've gone for the Democratic candidate. But I think people are still, when I say safety, meaning like, I don't want to offend my neighbors because there's a lot of Republicans, they don't have the percentage that the city has. So I think people do feel not a physical safety, of course, but a mental safety about, wow, I didn't know my neighbors were all at that. I need to go to that too. I mean, it's contagious. And that's why I think it's so important that it happens.
It's the positive version of peer pressure, right?
Yes,
right? Yeah.
That's exactly what it, yes.
Yeah, it's called live your values.
You live your values.
It's great. So what else have you all been up to? I know you had the hands off yesterday.
Exactly.
And I believe, did you celebrate, there was a Trans Day of Visibility?
There was.
Yes,
Shout out to Crystal Larson, who runs the LGBTQ Center of Lake County, who put together an In Solidarity protest. There were 8 groups within a half an hour radius in the suburbs that each held their own. And we all did it exactly the same time and posted all of our pictures together. And she did a tremendous job bringing people together. Highwood Pride was part of it. PFLAG. I can't think of all the groups. There were 8 of them, but we did that one in solidarity.
Nice.
And then, maybe 2 weeks before that, we just did it, a general, well, let's just get out there and hold up our signs. Let's just be visible, as visible as we possibly can be. And I got to tell you, I would say you won't believe this, but I know you will believe it. I teach middle school. And since I'm not going to call him the president. What should I call him? We'll call him 47. Since 47 has made his pronouncement of what trans people are now and what they are not, right?
Mm-hmm.
I cannot believe the emboldenment that I see in young kids. I'm a teacher who wears, thank God we're in Illinois, one of my favorite T-shirts is Protect Trans Kids. Mm-hmm. And I have a student who chooses to wear a MAGA hat on Fridays, so you know the type of student, who bullies me about what I wear. Like, it is unbelievable. And it's so hard to say to a child that he will scream at me down the hallway, there are only two genders. And how sad that you can't say to a child that they could repeat what the leader says, right? It's just such a disgusting time. So we have to keep being loud.
Yeah, we really do. Wow, that's...
We have to drown them out. So tell us, what is in store for people if they want to know about or come to the Buffalo Grove Pride? What tell us about how the day will unfold.
Absolutely. Well, we're so excited to have WCPT involved, and I'm still working with the station a little bit, but I'm hoping it's going to work out that you all are going to be able to go through as grand marshals starting at 11 and then be able to have a booth and host your show.
And hop on to the end.
Which would be so cool, and I could not be more proud to put that on our parade again. WCPT, where facts matter.
Right.
That's so important. So when you guys get through, I'm anticipating when we're all tied up that it's going to be about an hour and a half long, 100 groups going through, a lot of our same favorites, Chicago Pride Guard, a lot of the usuals coming, and a lot of suburban groups as well. And the theme this year is Pride is Natural, and we're going to encourage everybody to maybe add a little bit of greenery, just because we thought that would be kind of fun.
Okay.
But the whole idea that BG Pride is family friendly, and there is nothing more beautiful and pure than an LGBTQ family, and they are normal and natural, just like everybody else's family. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of going to be our theme. I know that you know about the late, great Tommy DiLorenzo, who passed away this year.
Balloons by Tommy, yeah.
Oh, God, it's so sad. And they're so wonderful. They've been a huge part of our parade every year. They always open it. Mm. So we definitely have some things in store to honor Tommy.
Oh,
Nice.
Great.
How many floats do you generally have? Or
you know, the number of people that do floats versus cars versus whatnot, I guess I'm going to say about half and half.
So what's the how many total, like cars, floats, whatnot? I mean, how long does the parade take to pass by, for example?
The parade is probably an hour and a half from start to finish.
Okay, well, that's pretty good length.
And about 100. We'll have about 100 entries.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. And do you have the route set up, or is that something that's still in the works?
We do, actually. That's what's so great. Now it's been going on so long, it's like clockwork.
Good.
You know, so we just know the month before what has to be done, who has to be met with to get everything together, and get it up and running.
Nice.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, of course, y'all, the Pintas are a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, my goodness. They sure are.
I'm sure
they either love us or they really, really hate us. Gee, I bet you can relate to that.
How many people do you estimate have been coming out to the parade over the last 7 years? I'm sure it's grown. You know, I'm sure last year there were more than the year before.
In the parade, we have about 2,000 participants. And on the sideline, I'm going to guess anywhere from, on a low year, 4,000, and on a high year, maybe 8,000.
Nice.
I don't think we quite get as big as Aurora, but it does grow every year. So...
Awesome.
Yeah, well, we can't compare with Aurora. Aurora is the second largest city in the state, so you know it's like you gotta do that. Even though I understand it is suburbs, and size doesn't matter. It's what they say.
It's still a great. I mean, it's a great. That's what Scott's.
That's what they say.
That's what they say. But no, it is. It's a great a number of people for the suburbs. I mean, it's fantastic that you look at what we are so proud of what you have done. What we were with you from the beginning, and to see how you
so appreciative.
And I know you've had. It wasn't easy. I know that you've had a lot of things in your way, but you've managed to overcome all of them to make this beautiful event. We're just really honored to be a part of it.
Oh, thank you. We are honored to have you. We'll talk details for sure in the coming months.
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
Yeah, it'll be here before you know it.
So you've been doing this type of activism for 7+ years now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Do you find that your motivation or your commitment, do you find that has changed, or it has just been solidified, or what keeps you showing up on a random Saturday? Let's just go out with some signs, like what is it? I mean, first of all, I'm sure part of it is just because it's in your DNA, because you are a middle school teacher. I will say this to my dying day. Middle school teachers, their place in heaven is roughly the size of Rhode Island, because it's true. Middle school, even that little ding dong with the MAGA hat who's yelling at you, like, it is such a horrible time in a kid's life. It's so hard. Your body's going through changes. You're becoming aware of of social pressures. There's all this stuff, and they smell weird. They just smell weird, But the people who are too much, the Axe body spray, much Axe body spray.
Exactly.
But there's something so special about middle school teachers who are able to navigate these hard times, these challenging years with these kids. It really takes a very special person to stay a middle school teacher. I taught 6th grade for 1 year, and I was like, no. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't have it in me, but I recognize there is some. Yeah, I know. So does that spirit help you just continue to show up?
Absolutely. Yes. Like if I can deal with 8th grade boys,
right.
Come on. I can deal with anything, right?
Yeah.
But above all, too, I just truly believe all the things that you believe, which is that every human has the right to be celebrated, highlighted, and loved. And I'm one of these people just happens to have, even before any of this started, many, many gay people in my life. Mm-hmm. And I love them. And as my brother-in-law, who is gay, says, we're the lucky ones because, he's very, very proud of the gay community, as am I, and I will never stop shouting about it.
I know, because we are a firm believer that equal rights for others does not mean less rights for you.
That's so right.
And everybody is entitled to dignity and respect, because pride is natural. There we are.
That's right. And we're going to celebrate on that day, and I love how the two of you always make sure to insert joy.
That is what we are trying to do.
Joy. So we're going to do that on June 1st.
Heck yeah. And I'm already planning a giant, maybe caftan made up entirely of ranunculus. Maybe I will be like a Rose Bowl parade float in my car. That would be wonderful. I don't know.
Fantastic. We're going to deck you guys out.
Well, my husband, he's very crafty, so I might I need you to do things for this, because pride is
pressure's
natural.
on.
I know, we got to look cute. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, you're going to get your sash and your crowns, and we'll talk about all that. Bring your family.
Scott didn't know about the crown.
I didn't know about the sash.
And the sash. He's overcome with joy right now, Carolyn.
Don't worry. You're going to get to pick some, too, because I understand. These are important things. I would not pick them for you. So I'll send you some ideas. So you'll tell me what you think.
I love it.
My first sash.
His very first. My very first. Well, I think it's my first. Yeah, my first.
Oh, I'm all verklempt. So exciting. And
what a day it will be.
And we are so happy and so proud of all the work that you and Buffalo Grove Pride and the Pinta Pride Project are doing out there in the suburbs to ensure that people live with dignity and respect. So thank you so much for all that you but you do. So the Pride Parade, we got a couple months.
Yep.
June 1st. It's happening from 11 to 1 in Buffalo Grove. If you want to find out more information about the Buffalo Grove Pride Parade and all of the amazing things that the Pinta Pride Project does, go to pintaprideproject.com and make sure you follow them on all the socials and all that good stuff, because they need to know being an ally is a verb, and you embody that, Carolyn Pinta.
Well, thank you. We really try. And we love you guys, and we'll see you very soon.
We will see you very soon.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Hang in there.
Thank you. We got to take a quick break, and when we come back, it is the final thrilling show-stopping moments about Chicago right here on WCPT.
The Randy Rhodes Show.
Oh, congratulations to the Fox and Friends weekend morning host, who's now our Secretary of Defense. He's a veteran, everybody. I know, I'm a veteran too. I'm pretty sure I wasn't on any of Kamala's short lists for any cabinet position, but oh my God, these picks, it's almost like, well, there's a word for it. It's called patronage. Right here, right now on WCPT 820, weekdays 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time.
This is a WCPT 820 20th Anniversary News Minute.
Here is something none of my predecessors ever got a chance to say. Welcome to the White House, the World Series champion, Chicago Cubs.
That's President Barack Obama welcoming the 2016 World Series champion Chicago Cubs to the White House on January 16, 2017, just 4 days before the end of his second term as president. The Cubs had defeated the Cleveland Indians in 7 games the previous November, their first World Series win in 108 years.
I will say to the Cubs, it took you long enough. I mean, I've only got 4 days left. You're just making another one. Now listen, I made a lot of promises in 2008. We've managed to fulfill a large number of them, but even I was not crazy enough to suggest that during these 8 years we would see the Cubs win the World Series.
I'm Mike Mercado for WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk since 2005.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment.
Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Hey, this is Mark Patton, and I'm from Scream Queen, My Nightmare on Elm Street, and you're listening to Out Chicago.
And welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Duff here, along with Ellen Miller. I need to put my glasses on. I love that we played that Scream Queen thing, because I believe this is like the 40th anniversary of Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
You would know better than I.
I know, right?
Sorry. It's probably.
It's true. No, but I saw something. One of the gay publications was talking about how it's like it is a queer camp classic.
Oh yes.
But also because of that, that's one of the interviews we need to pull up from the archives to pull out with Mark Patton.
Yeah, he was great.
That documentary, My Nightmare on Elm Street, was about what happened to his career after being in that movie.
Yeah.
And it was not good.
No, we talked about that, as I recall. I think
with him.
Yeah, with him,
that's how we got him on the thing.
But we got into that, and it was wow.
The movie is really it's fascinating. The documentary. So if you can find it, it's My Nightmare on Elm Street. It's Mark Patton. It's really great. But we need to do that for the featured featured interviews for our podcast.
Yeah, that would be a great one.
I know. I got to dig around and see when that was and if we still have it somewhere. I'm sure we do. But hey, if you want to check out the show, we do have podcasts now.
Yes, we do.
It's very exciting. There's Out Chicago full episodes, and there are featured interviews. They're both available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, YouTube,
just
Amazon, everywhere
you
get your podcasts. Just search for Out Chicago, or you can get the links on the show page by visiting heartlandsignal.com and clicking our little mug right there.
That's it. That's how you find it.
I know. It'd be great. And I think I believe it's sold out. It might be, but on May 3rd, it's going to be the big 20th anniversary broadcast at Max and Benny's Restaurant, Deli and Bakery in Northbrook.
Will there be corned beef sandwiches?
I hope so. Because Hal Sparks, Richard Chu, Jonathan Zito, Patty Vasquez. Wow. I'm going to be there broadcasting live. Didn't realize it was 4 hours, but yeah, we'll be there doing that for 4 hours. With special guests. But I think go to heartlandsignal.com/anniversary to see if there are some tickets left. I think it was sold out because one of our fabulous listeners who finally talked to me after they see me at the Snack Factory all the time was like, I tried to get tickets, but I think they're sold out. But I don't know that for sure.
Okay.
They are sold out. Oh.
Well, that's encouraging.
Well, make sure you tune in.
Yeah, tune in.
And while we're at it, tell everybody about WCPT.
Please.
Right now.
People are wanting to get a liberal voice, and they don't even know that we exist, so we need your help.
Yeah, so spread the word. Spread the word about WCPT. One of my favorite signs that I saw yesterday at the Hands Off march here in Chicago was it had a picture of Parker Posey, and it said, America, no. Like Piper, no.
Not Taiwan.
Yeah,
I have a friend that's a photographer and artist. He sent me a bunch of pictures from the rally. The signs are always so good. They're so creative. I don't know where people come up with these, but they're fantastic.
They're wonderful. A lot of people were pulling from Cory Booker's speech.
Oh, really?
Yep. Okay. They were going okay, we're going to let's. I mean, there's 25 hours worth of material to pull from right there.
Here's a good one. The Doge ate my Constitution.
Yes, the doggy. The doggy. Yeah, we're calling it doggy.
The doggy.
Mm-hmm. I posted one that had something about keep your tiny hands off our Constitution. And author Rick Perlstein, who wrote Nixonland and Reaganland, he's a historian, especially when it comes to conservative politicians. He responded, maybe we should put their hands on a Constitution. We should get one in their hands so they can actually read it and see what's going on there.
He has no idea.
Yeah.
Oligargle these balls. I'm looking at another.
Okay.
That's another with fists up.
Yes, of course. There they are.
The creativity is unending.
It is unending.
For a good cause, of course. Yes.
Look, usually we try to end the show on happy notes and stuff, but I do want to kind of... I have to venture again, just to keep people aware of what's going on. The biggest motivation for the GOP is, again, to organize discontent and to make sure that there is a boogeyman that people can all be focused on. And right now, the way that these people are so obsessed with genitals is kind of amazing. Right now, the focus that everybody's having right now is on trans issues, and particularly trans women in sports, and mostly trans women, which is just downright misogynistic of what's going on. So Thursday, there was a proclamation issued for National Child Abuse Prevention Month, which, was great. Good. We want to prevent child abuse.
Sure.
That's awful.
Who doesn't?
So it's somewhere he started out with, my administration recognizes that the most powerful safeguard against child abuse is a stable family with loving parents, and that there is no substitute for a strong mother and father. Yeah, Ding Dong wrote that.
Or somebody wrote it.
Totally father of the year. Totally father of the year. Has 5 kids from 3 different wives? Yeah, and they're all gems.
Oh, they're so
They
special.
are all just gems. And how many kids exactly does Elon have?
Like 14,
47,
15,
80? I don't know. Like that's what's going on there. So remember, strong mother and father, because, we've got great role models.
Oh, they're such good role models.
Yes,
really,
somehow.
Every way.
They're every way. But they went on, continued, like the whole thing was about child abuse and about preventing child abuse. And a full half of the proclamation was about dealing with trans kids. They wrote, sadly, one of the most prevalent forms of child abuse facing our country today is a sinister threat of gender ideology. Proponents of the gender ideology movement are outrageously indoctrinating our children with the devastating lie that they are trapped in the wrong body, and that the only way they can be truly happy is to alter their sex with hormone therapy, puberty blockers, and sexual mutilation surgery. The evil and backward lies of gender insanity are robbing our children of their happiness, health, and freedom while imposing unimaginable heartbreak on parents and families. Okay, I don't even know how to unpack that, but let's just say the American Medical Association, the Psychiatric Association, they have all said that this is a real thing. Transgender people do exist, and they existed, and they have existed for decades.
Yep.
Decades, dare I say eons. There we are. And the administration's attack on these families who are making the best decisions for the mental health and physical well-being of their kids is huge. And we got to make sure that we're standing up for them. The whole thing that's been going down, that weird Women in Sports Act, like they keep talking about how women and we got to worry about women in sports. It's like, well, if you're that concerned about women's sports, pay them. How about you pay them the same amount? What's going on there? How about you make sure that they don't get sexually assaulted by the team trainer? Hello, the entire American women's gymnastic team. Let's look at that for a second before you start worried about the governor of Maine stood up to ding dong in the Oval Office, and then they sent 6 federal agencies after her for how many transgender student athletes?
2, was it?
2. Yeah. 2 of them. 2. Trans folks are just folks. They're just living their lives. And if they're lucky, they have a really supportive family who's there to help them out and help them navigate the world and help them be who they truly are. So it's, again, all of this fanfare. Let's ignore the talk about the running for a 3rd term. Let's ignore, buying Greenland. Let's ignore, there's so much other stuff that is just chumming the waters. This is a distraction. Going after trans folks is a distraction. Yeah. It gives you something to focus on so you don't see that they're taking away your money and that they are crumbling our democracy.
Crumbling it.
They are purposely tanking the dollar. It's what's happening here.
Yeah, they want to privatize and buy it all up, and a few people will control everything, just typical fascism and dictatorship.
Yes. So that's why we need folks like the Pinta Pride Project who are getting out there onto the streets and then saying some stuff. That's why we need events like the Hands Off rally that happened yesterday across the country. Let me tell you, Boston, if you could look up footage of that, it was huge. Boston Commons was covered. Same thing with the mall in DC. We just need to make sure that we're getting our voices heard. I know the last time he was in office, there were so many, and they keep happening. We're only 2 months in, folks. Yeah. We're only 2 months in, and it's going to be bumpy. But I believe that we can make a change if we have our voices heard. And we need to make sure that what is the thing? What is the moment for you that you are going to stand up? Either be to a family member or to a neighbor or whatever it is. How can you start making a change in your daily life, in your community? Start small. With the groups like just your neighborhood, then go a little bit further into your community, then into your town. Just ease into it,
and it's good for your mental health.
It's to be doing something, to be a part of something.
You're a part of something, and you're not alone.
With that, I just want to thank you all for joining us today. Also, the season finale of White Lotus is tonight.
An hour and a half long. Ooh.
It's an hour and a half long?
Yes.
Thank God, because the one last week, I'm like, you did not do anything to move us closer to any sort of...
That's what everybody was saying, but let's see what happens tonight.
I think Saxon's going to go.
You do?
Poison fruit smoothie.
Oh.
Because they keep talking about the poison fruit. Anyway.
Somebody's going to drink that poison fruit.
I know. Someone somewhere. Is it going to be Jason Isaac? Well, I don't know. There's so much going on. But that's why we're so happy that we have some community
folks.
and
Enjoy
some escapism. And keep going out there and doing all that you are doing.
Yes.
My thanks to David Cerda from Handbag Productions and Carolyn Pinta of Buffalo Grove Pride. David, you are amazing. Who's back there? Is it Dylan? Oh, yeah. Oh, Paul.
Paul's back
Paul's there. I didn't even
Yeah,
see Paul all day.
yeah.
Paul,
He had some company,
great.
but he's back
there.
there.
We are. Paul, thank you for doing everything. Ellen Miller, I'm so glad you had a fabulous birthday weekend. I'm sure the celebrations will continue.
They will, and I want to thank all the people that came out and voiced their thoughts and their opinions yesterday when they marched. It was so important.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And I'm Scott Duff, and until next week,
stay proud.